Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Good morning. Welcome to Monday, the 10th of November. My name is Caroline Bounds and I'm one of the property coaches here at Positive Real Estate. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I am currently in beautiful Tasmania near the Cunnamalooka, otherwise known as the Tamar River. It was gorgeous and sunny and now it's turned a little bit cloudy, so let's hope for some more sun a little bit later. So this morning we have a tale of two clients. Now the names have obviously been changed for privacy. We have Fred and Freda, who joined in 2012, and we have Jan and John, who joined in 2016. Now, when they both started, they were both in their mid-40s and are now roughly in their mid-50s. They had similar starting points regarding their assets and their income. Fred and Freda had 2 children whose were a little bit younger than Jan and John's 3 children. Now, one followed their goals and their strategy and their plan and met with their coach regularly. The others didn't have goals set and didn't follow any strategy and didn't have a plan. So how has this played out for these 2 couples? So Jane and John. So these are the couples that joined in 2016. Now they both earned around $225,000 per year. In this case, Jane was a stay-at-home mum initially, and then she went back to part-time work fairly soon after joining Positive Real Estate. They had a home valued at roughly $500,000 with around $70,000 available in equity to use. And they had moved interstate, so they switched their home into an investment property to start with. So in 2016, they had their $70,000 equity and they purchased a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car apartment in Brisbane for $370,000. In 2017, they received something of a unicorn valuation as they were in the process of refinancing their portfolio, which gained enough equity to provide not only another investment purchase, but also a home in their new state, which was Sydney. Now, they also set up an SMSF, otherwise known as self-managed super fund. I like to call them SMRF because I find it much easier to say. So in that, they also purchased 2 properties, one in 2017 and one in 2018. One was in Brisbane and was purchased for $510,000. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1-car apartment. And the other was in Melbourne, which was a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car townhouse. And that was for $450,000. Now, they had a little bit of a gap in between purchasing these properties, buying their home, doing some renovations. Their home in Sydney, they had never planned to be their forever home. It was always part of their financial plan to plough some money into this, create some extra equity, and then sell that as part of their financial ongoing plan. In the middle of all that, they were looking for their trophy property, which they managed to find in 2022. It was an off-the-plan apartment. They purchased it for $589,000. Now, when that settled upon completion in the end of 2023, the bank valuation was $770,000. Now, their Sydney home, which they had always planned to sell, it was never going to be their forever home. They purchased for $900,000 at the end of 2017. So that was pretty much at the peak of the Sydney market at that point in time. Their renovations, which were extensive, cost them around $300,000. And when they sold in 2023, they sold it for over $1.5 million. So their plan had paid off. Now, they did have some hiccups along the way. The husband, John, was made redundant. They had an off-the-plan property they were aiming to buy in Canberra. They couldn't complete, and they did require the strategic sale of one property. Now, this is the importance of moats that I'd like to touch on. So when you're setting up your investment portfolio, it's super important to have moats around each property that you have, so that if you ever need or want to sell a property, it's only that property that's affected. So this includes your home as well as each investment property. So make sure you've got a moat around it. The easiest way to do this is to have each mortgage with a different lender. If you're ever unsure about this, please reach out to your coach if you're part of real estate already, or come along to one of our webinars. We have these each Tuesday evening. They're called a Property Investor Masterclass, and we can link you in with some. So also in 2025, this family built their forever home. The estimated value of this is $1 million, and it is also mortgage free. So in 2012, Freda and Freda joined. Now, they were renting a property back then. They had 2 young children. They are still renting the same property. They had one investment property with an estimated value of $300,000. Their income was around $200,000. Freda self-confessed that we never set end goals, and so we didn't succeed. 13 years later, they are still renting the same house. They sold their investment property in 2014 for just under $510,000. They did not at any point have any discussions with their coach about what their plans were or anything like that. In 2024, they purchased what will be their retirement home. They paid $1.1 million for that, with an 88% loan to value ratio. So what does this look like? So currently, end of 2025, Jane and John's total investment portfolio, including their properties inside their self-managed super fund and outside, is over $3.3 million, plus their home, which is fully paid off, estimated value of $1 million. So they have an overall equity of greater than 50% in their investment portfolio. So around $1.8 million in equity they have. John is also now semi-retired. They will also exceed their original goal, which was a passive income retirement of income during retirement of $100,000 by their early 60s. So they have not only achieved their goal, they've actually exceeded it. And when they set their $100,000 goal, that included their dreams. That wasn't just meeting their wants and their needs. So in our terms, your needs are your roof over your head that's fully paid off, all your basic bills paid, but it's no frills. We're not going to concerts, dinners, holidays, anything like that. So they've met all of these goals and exceeded them, which is awesome. Now, Fred and Freda. So their total property portfolio, which is currently their one home, which will be their retirement home when they move into it, it's currently being rented out, is currently valued at $1.3 million. Their current loan to value ratio is currently 75%. So if they relocate in the coming year or so, as is their current plan, they will have a high mortgage and no rental properties. So that is a massively huge difference. So Fred and Fred are also now in their mid-50s, and the window to make the most of their income and their investment opportunities is becoming smaller. Time is now very much of the essence. So Jane and John, when they were building their investment portfolio in conjunction with the advice from their coach and the rest of the team at Positive Real Estate, worked very much on what we could call read well, which is resilient aspirational dwellings on well-located land. They bought the best properties they could afford in the best location that they could afford. They leaned on the expertise of others. They leveraged other people's knowledge just as they leveraged other people's money, that is, the bank's money. So what is the difference? Because Freda and Fred and Jane and John had the same team and the same opportunities. Jane and John set goals. They kept their goals in mind. They kept in contact with their coach. They participated in ongoing education. They attended events. They attended webinars. They were open to opportunity. When life threw spanners in their works, such as John's redundancy, they didn't look at each other and panic. They reached out to their coach. And that gave them time and everyone's expertise to give them options so they could make the best decisions for them, the best informed decisions for them. So ultimately, and this is going to be short and sweet today, trust the process. Buy well and never sell, or only sell strategically and after chatting with your coach. It is all about the amount of time we have in the market, not timing the market of when we purchase. So for these two couples, these families, the cost of literally doing nothing is close to $3 million in investment assets and almost $2 million in capital growth over a decade, not to mention a fully paid off dream home in not quite a 10-year span. So short, sharp and sweet today, and I hope that illustrated the difference between making goals and having a team around you and working with that team and not, because these two families had exactly the same opportunities, and one has taken that door of opportunity and ripped it open and walked straight through it, and the other has looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and not done anything. So if you have opportunity, if you want to explore your opportunities, please do reach out. We would love to talk with you. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.